Welcome to Tech Tuesday on the Final Boss podcast, where innovation meets attitude, and the future gets decoded one byte at a time. I'm your host, Turbotheceo, and your co-host, Mike Foth. And today we're diving deep into the tech trenches to uncover the tools, trends, and truths shaping tomorrow. Whether you're a code slinger, gadget geek, or just tech curious, this is your weekly power-up. So grab your controller, plug in, and let's level up.
Welcome to Tuesday night's edition of the Final Boss podcast. I am your host, the Final Boss, and my co-host for every Tuesday. He's our text me, the Sensei, Big Mike. Let's give a hand for him. Whew. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here. I am here, and we have an amazing show for you tonight. But before we get started into the show, I'd like to take a brief moment, maybe a minute, to honor my grandmother who passed this time last year. May her soul rest in heaven, and may she continue to look over us and bless us. So just briefly, I want to take a moment to honor her. Thank you. All right. My grandmother, what a beautiful woman. Lillian D. Barber, she was an amazing, strong matriarch, man. She held the fort down, and we miss her dearly around these times, these holidays. So, yeah, man. Sensei, how you feeling, buddy?
Rolling. Ready to roll with it.
Roll with it. All right. Let me get these admin notes out. Let me get the brass tacks out, and then we can get right into tonight's show. This is episode number 141. 141 on our way to episode number 200. Tonight's episode is very speculative. We're going to be saying it's speculation, and that is for entertainment purposes only throughout the night, so we won't get gigged. But tonight's topic is going to be quantum apocalypse, and we're going to get it right into it as soon as I get these admin notes and this brass tacks done. So, admin notes, listen. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Like, share, subscribe to all our platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Kick, Twitch, and Spotify. We're still trying to get on Apple. We're having some issues. Sensei, I might hand that over to you so you can knock that out for us. It's just a matter of loading up to an Apple account, which I don't have. So we'll talk about that. But make sure you guys are like, sharing, and subscribe, and continue to send us emails, man. Send us emails at info@thefinalbosspodcast, info@thefinalbosspodcast.com. We appreciate all the comments that are coming through on all the different social media sites. I see them all. Thank you so much for participating in the channel, no matter when and where you get it. I know the cycle of the algorithm, sometimes you get things a little bit late, but it's out there. And once it's out there, it's out there. So stay with me. Please continue to do that. We appreciate you. To each and every last single one of the smarts, the final bosses, to the motivators, to the warriors, thank you so much, guys. We are building this community. We're on this journey together. And tonight, Tech Tuesday is super included in that. I don't want you guys to think that any of these shows are separate. They're all together. And we're all in the same journey together as a community. Final Boss community, Final Boss Nation, we are in it together, family. And this is what it's all about, man. Building family, building family. And you know what? Families have differences, but guess what? We're still family. And that's the important part. So please, yes, Continue to send us that information. And let's get into the brass tacks of tonight. Brass tacks is coming from Elise Khan. Elise Khan. And here is the brass tacks of the evening. Quantum computers will render useless most existing methods of encryption. I say again, quantum computers will render useless most existing methods of encryption. That's going to lead us into tonight's conversation on the quantum apocalypse. Now, I know you guys are wondering what that is all about, but look, we're going to tell you exactly what it's all about. Give us a few minutes to get ready to dive deep into the conversation. Sensei, before we get started, you got any words, man, of encouragement for tonight's show?
Stay alert, stay alive.
Stay alert, stay alive. No words are more truer, man. No words are more truer. Listen, Sensei, he has those punchlines, man. And listen, you may miss them, but look, I don't miss those punchlines, man. I got a book full of his punchlines, and they are golden. Let me tell you, they are golden. And if you need some punchlines, man, look, hit us up, man. We got them for you. So let's go ahead and get started. So, motivators, family, warriors, smarts. Today, we're diving into something that keeps intelligence analysis like from companies like that are a part of the Fortune 500, their CEOs and defense contractors up at night. And I'm talking about the threats you see coming, the flying things, the malware, the market crashes. I'm talking about ELE events already in motion, and people don't even have them on the radar. The day the world's encryption fails, and here's what you need to know. First of all, this is for entertainment purposes only, and this is all speculation. So we're going to be saying that throughout the night. And here's what you, like I said, this is what you need to know and understand right now. We're ready, right? We're getting ready, Sensei and I, for what's coming because we see it. We don't believe that there are a lot of governments that are prepared for this. We don't believe that a lot of corporations are prepared for this. And we don't believe that the average person is preparing for this. Right? Because this information, although it may seem like it's science fiction, it's not. It's a strategic reality. And the clock is ticking faster than anyone wants to admit. But again, this is for entertainment purposes only, and this is speculative information. Sir, you got the floor.
Well, look, we talk about this thing called the quantum apocalypse, and it's a catchy term. And we hear about quantum technology, we hear about quantum computing, and we know that there's a lot of money being invested in this right now. So you say, well, what's this going to look like? What's the reality of when it happens? What's it going to look like? So it's not going to look like fire in the streets. It'll look like everything's still running, but nothing being real. Your bank balance, gone. Your identity, copied. Your medical records, public. Your crypto wallet, emptied. Your government, blind. Look, the end of the world doesn't start with explosions. It starts with access. Access. Access to your data. Access to all data. That's where it starts.
Wow. Wow. You know, right now, all these encryption systems and everything that we're talking about is built on mathematical problems we thought were unsolvable.
Yeah. So we use currently for current encryption, we just call it a two-key system. There's a public key and a private key. Think of it this way. The public is the lock. The private is the key. So if I lock something in public, I have to have a private key to unlock it. It's a two-key system for encryption. So we have things called RSA. It's a primary encryption method that banks use, governments use, and secure websites use. Then we have one that's super important. It's called ECC. It's called ecliptic curve cryptography. It's using
Hmm.
crypto wallets, phones, military radios, and Internet of Things devices. So the interesting part about that is that each of these different kinds of encryptions is used for a different thing.
Right.
Then when we talk about websites and mail encryption, we have one called TLS, Transport Layer Security. So when you go to a website and you see the lock on the website, you know that you're being protected by encryption. So quantum doesn't break computers, it breaks the math.
Right.
So if we have the algorithm running on large enough quantum computer, it can reverse RSA and ECC almost instantly
Mm.
because the math behind the word secure becomes trivial.
Right.
Once the switch flips, every lock fails at once. Live data and stored encrypted data, stored data. So no server is hacked, no firewalls will be breached. Just the math, which keeps it all secure, it's made obsolete. I mean, quantum doesn't steal your password. It makes your password meaningless. That's where we're
Wow.
headed with this. It totally changes the entire playing field. It's like when you play 2D chess, and then suddenly we're playing 3D chess. It's a whole different world.
In a matter of a flip of a switch.
Just like
Yeah,
that.
speaking of landscape, man, that's whew. Again, this is for entertainment purposes only. And here's where it gets real because this is speculative. And we're at a point where the public narrative diverges from what's actually happening in the intelligence and defense sectors. The public timeline says 20 years. The tech optimists say 8 to 10. But when I look at certain nation states and the way things are happening, emergency budget allocations, acquisition programs, and a sudden shift in communication protocols, which are going and becoming part of the highest level, we're not acting like this is a future problem. They're acting like someone already has the key and they're just waiting to make the turn.
I mean, look, let's drop some receipts, okay? So name some names.
Uh-oh.
China, they have what's called a PLA, a Strategic Support Force, plus University of Science and Technology of China. Listen to what they've done and when they did it. The world's first satellite-based quantum communications was proven and tested in 2016.
Wow.
That's 9 years ago,
Wow.
right? In the
Right.
United States, the NSA, the CIA, and the AFRL, they're quietly redirecting black budget into post-quantum networks since 2015.
Mm,
That's how many years ago?
that was 10 years ago.
Now, again, if you don't believe what I'm telling you, go look it up. The information's out there. This is nothing that's hidden. It's the information's there. So there's a lot of infrastructure money being put towards this problem because if you don't start working on the problem now, you're never going to solve it. And then when it becomes real, you're so far behind, you're lost. Look,
Mm,
in Israel, they have a thing called Unit 8200 and Technion. They're building hybrid classical quantum crypto analysis tools. So not only do they analyze with classical standard style that we use right now,
right.
they're using a hybrid version that includes quantum into analyzing
Mm,
crypto analysis. And in the EU, you ever heard of CERN, the super hydrocomputer?
yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. They use the quantum flagship program has over €1 billion in the quantum funding stack.
Wow.
And this comes now to the real of the real of the real. Of course, it's for entertainment purposes only, but
Mm,
this is where the crap hits the proverbial fan. Nobody's going to announce when they crack cryptography. Nobody's going to say, yep, we did it. That's the last thing they're going to disclose. What they're going to do is
right.
the process is called HNDL. They're going to harvest everything, store it, decrypt it later. That's already an intelligence doctrine. It's already being done right now. It's called harvest now, decrypt later. So this massive computing that we have is right now as we speak, and this is not hyperbole. This is not guessing. This is the reality. We hear about big data all the time. We hear about that Google is constantly grabbing all this data. Facebook is grabbing all this data. All of these companies have the data and they're storing it. So then later, once the keys are broken, it's all there to be decrypted. Everything you've ever done, anywhere, anytime, any place. Quantum supremacy won't be televised. It'll be weaponized. That's what's coming.
And again, this is for entertainment purposes only. And let me tell you something that's going to upset a lot of people in the crypto community. And I say this as someone who understands the appeal of decentralized currency, who sees the value in blockchain technology. But here's the hard truth. Your Bitcoin isn't protected by the blockchain strength. I'm going to say that again. Your Bitcoin isn't protected by the blockchain strength. It's protected by the mathematical impossibility of reversing an elliptic curve signature. Elliptic
curve, ECC.
Yeah. ECC.
It's a lightweight. This is the thing about it. It's lightweight. It's not the most robust either.
Yeah.
It's 2 points on a curve. So if you're going to break one, that's the easiest one to break.
And you know, Mike, we have a question that we can this is a very interesting question. From someone that go by Mighty Whitey. He says, how close are we really to achieving practical, fault-tolerant quantum computers? Now, that's a loaded question.
Well, look, we in the public are only going to see what we're going to see. The military-industrial complex is going to have these things, and it has historically had technology 10 years before the public does. That's historical. That's throughout history.
Right.
Yeah. So if we think it's going to happen in 10 years, then that means they might already have it.
True.
I mean, so what is out in the big boy world is very much different than what we see in the public. We see the watered down version of things. We're going to see the for public consumption versions of whatever's happening. And I believe, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, but I believe that we're going to see there's going to be I'm going to call it like a dam. You dam up the river and then suddenly it cuts loose. I believe we're going to see leaps and bounds all at once, not as a trickle effect. I think we're going to see that there's going to be a big problem that nobody can solve, and then there's going to be a boom, an oh shit moment, and then it's going to just be wide open. So I think that's where we're going to see these things happen, but just we're not going to see it yet as the public. I don't see the public having immediate access to that information, even though there's a lot of talk about it and it's a pretty publicly discussed situation. I don't see that we're going to have access to what's really being done behind closed doors.
So you don't believe that there's going to be like an alarm like the Y2K situation? No. Okay.
No. And if so, it's already, the problem and the solution are already going to be in place prior to that happening. I don't believe it's going to happen as we don't have a solution for this. I believe that the solution is already going to be in place by the time we hear about it.
Right.
So let's get back to crypto. We're talking about crypto, right?
Yep.
So with Bitcoin, Ethereum, they all rely on ECC. Once quantum can reverse the public keys back into private keys, remember it's the lock and the unlock, okay? Once that, every hot wallet, cold wallet, multi-sig, and hardware wallet becomes a vending machine. Crypto's not going to collapse because the chain breaks. And here's where it comes down. Crypto collapses because ownership becomes unenforceable.
Ooh. Whoa.
Not your keys, not your crypto. Quantum just makes sure that nobody has keys. And look, right now, quantum is I'm going to call it in the infancy stages. But you got to remember, though, the first tests that were being done that were
10 years ago.
10 years. And how much has technology changed in the last 6 months, let alone 10 years? So
technology is changing every 3 months now.
Right, but we don't see it in the public eye. I believe it's happening behind the scenes. We just don't have access to it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that right there,
again, this is just for entertainment purposes only.
Entertainment purposes only, people. Entertainment purposes only. And this is where you know, we're talking about crypto, we're talking about these different things. My personal alarms go off. My military training kicks in. I get hyper vigilant because if you understand military, we see things in combat operation, even daily life, right? We train for cascade failures. When one system goes down, it triggers a domino effect across the entire mission architecture. You lose comms, and then you lose coordination, and then you lose situational awareness, and then you lose force protection. But what we're talking about here is a cascade failure on civilization wide scale. And the first domino isn't technology, it's something far fundamental. Mike, walk us through that, please, sir.
So the first thing that's going to fall is trust. Think about that. Once nothing can be verified, nothing can continue.
I just said that last night. Public trust is eroding, that people aren't going to be able to believe the truth.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I saw your lips moving, but I don't think for at least 2 sentences it didn't come out.
Oh, interesting. Fascinating.
Yeah, fascinating.
So did I say the first thing that falls is trust? Once nothing can be verified, nothing can continue.
Yeah, so trust was the last thing we heard.
Okay. Once nothing can be verified, nothing can continue. It's a chain reaction. Okay. The first thing that's going to happen when the defecation strikes the oscillating device, the banks are going to freeze withdrawals. Boom. Immediate. Okay. Because if I can't verify my identity, the bank's not giving me money. Period. Insurance is going to cancel liability exposure because they're going to be fully exposed, because who can prove who is who? Look, the stock exchanges are going to halt because trade signatures aren't real. Ports and shipping, bills of lading, that's all verified. If it's unverifiable, you can't prove what comes from where. You don't know you can't trust anything. Cloud providers are going to lock accounts because identity can't be authenticated. Once you can't authenticate, what happens? You trust nothing, therefore no one gets anything.
Wow.
The system's going to go into a full-blown lockdown. Legal systems are going to collapse. There's no valid digital signatures. I can't trust that what you sent me is what you sent me. Okay? If I can't trust that, because right now we use digital signatures to verify that, yes, that's you. You did send it to me. It uses a public key, private key. You digitally sign with your private key. The other side is going to verify with your public key. They match, therefore, they trust you. You are who you say you are. Once you can't trust or validate anything, the defecation is going to strike the oscillating device big way. And then after that, now it gets real. This is when we hit the real world. SCADA systems. These are the industrial power, your water, your gas, your controls. Spoofable. And spoofing is acting like you're someone that you're not.
Right.
So you can turn the power off. You can turn the water on. I mean, you can do whatever you want once you can act like you are the one in charge. How about aviation tracking? Aircraft in the air. Can't trust that anything's legit. That can be forged. True. And here's the thing. Here's a biggie. It's called military IFF, identification friend or foe. You can spoof it. You can be coming in as an enemy, and the system's going to think you're a friend.
Oh boy.
Yeah. How about medical system prescribing false drugs?
Wait. Not to cut you off, or that part did you just mention? The military?
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
That's scary.
I didn't say that.
No, you didn't say that.
There you go. I just didn't say it.
Yeah, this is entertainment purposes only, people. Speculation, all speculation.
We're saying the possibility is it could happen. We're not saying it is. We're not.
Yeah.
We're not Nostradamus here. Okay.
No, we're not Nostradamus. Absolutely, absolutely.
How about in medical systems?
Yeah.
How about that somebody who could have access to? Now, don't get me wrong. I never said that any particular individual who's like a hacker can have access to these things. I'm not saying it's at that level yet.
No.
I'm saying once the trust isn't there for whatever the reason is, once you don't trust anything.
Correct.
Look, civilizations don't run on electricity. It runs on verified identity. Think about that.
Bars.
Everywhere you go with your driver's license, you have to prove who you are. You want to buy alcohol? Show your ID. Now, we are doing this now in the digital world where you do digital ID. And you're showing your digital ID that proves who you are. Now, imagine if nobody trusts your digital ID anymore.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Whoo, boy.
It's like a turd in the punch bowl.
Ooh, boy. Man, oh man. Listen, people. Let's give it up for the Sensei. Oh man, listen, entertainment purposes only, good people. Entertainment purposes only. And look, we have great news, right? We have great news because this is all speculation, people. This isn't real. This is all speculation. But we have great news. The good guy is on the way. The good guy is on the way. The Superman is on the way in the form of the government, right? The tech giants are developing solutions, right? We're going to patch the system before it breaks. No, we're not. And I need people to understand why. I've dealt with all types of legacy systems, infrastructure, contracts, managing IT, you name it. I've seen it. The idea that we're going to upgrade the entire digital infrastructure of modern civilization in time is a fantasy. Speculation. Entertainment purposes only.
Yeah, we're just speculating. We're guessing.
We're guessing, people. We're guessing.
And again, we talk about the trust, right?
Right.
If you don't trust what you think is true, then how do you compare what's true or not true? How do you know what's good and bad? How can you know if something's reality or not reality? Because you don't trust anything at that point. And you don't know what you're going to believe. You might believe something because it's shiny and go, oh, that's it. But that's in fact, that's not good. Bad information, bad intel.
Right.
There's a term for it that they like to use out in the world. Right? I love hearing it. It's the term that's being thrown all out there, the politically correct term is called misinformation, right? We hear about that. So, and what's the fix? How do we fix it? Can we fix this? Kind of yes, kind of no. That's called PQC. And just so you understand, this is not something that is new on the horizon. This has already been discussed. It's already being standardized. Now, in our country, in the United States, we use what's called NIST. It's called the National Institute of Standards and Technology. This is pretty much here's how you do it. It doesn't tell you specifically how to do technology, but here's the overall roadmap. But it's already too late in 3 different ways. Okay? 3 ways. Billions of existing devices. They just can't be upgraded. It's not there. There's no upgrade path. Once we have seen that in the past, where I can't upgrade my Windows 7 machine anymore, and it can't be on the internet because it's not secure, I have to get rid of it, right?
Right.
Have we seen this in many, many times in many, many places? If it can't be upgraded, it's got to be replaced. How many times have you seen copy machines that you can't send files by scanning over the copy machine because it uses SMB version 1 and it's not secure anymore and it gets locked down? So your new servers and your new workstations can't talk to the old copy machine. You have to replace the copy machine. Okay, now imagine billions of existing devices that can't be upgraded all at once. Bang.
Billions with a B.
B.
B, people. B.
Firmware, routers, medical devices, industrial controls, all this stuff, dead on arrival. No good. No good. And imagine now, if you know anything about infrastructure, you know the amount of equipment it takes to make things work just from your local network to the internet. That doesn't count how the internet works. Imagine it, your entire structure is poof, and you have to replace your entire network infrastructure. Oops. And look, migration would require the whole world doing a synchronized update. And you know, the whole world can't even agree on what day it is, for God's sake.
Wow.
Or right now, what time it is. We don't even know what time it is because we like daylight savings time. So we can't even agree on what time it is, right?
That
Stupidest thing I've ever seen. It just happened, right?
It just happened.
We know it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
So quantum's not going to break the internet. It breaks the assumption that the internet can be patched, because the internet cannot be patched. You can rebuild the ship, but you can't rebuild the ship after the hull is gone.
After the hull is gone.
When it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah. And again, entertainment purposes only. And look, always. up until now, we've been talking about what quantum breaks. Now, we're going to talk about what quantum reshapes. And this is where any perspective as both a military veteran and a business strategist becomes critical. Because the question isn't just what fails. The question is who wins, who loses, and what does the world look like when the dust settles? Let's go deeper, right? I was deployed to Afghanistan and Iraq. I've operated in those environments where the wrong frequency, true story, the wrong encryption key, another true story, and the wrong authentication protocol could get people hurt or unalive. And every single mission, critical system depended on the ability to verify that the order coming through is legitimate. Now imagine the capability just gone. Imagine you're an underwater vessel commanding and receiving information and what that looks like, right? Just paint that picture for you with the information I just gave. This isn't.
And you get a launch sequence that says, "I'm legit, launch."
Whoo! Butterflies in the sky.
What sky? Oh, is that me again?
You said what? No, that was perfect timing.
What sky?
Exactly. What sky? Right. Oh man, Mike, lay it on us, man. Give us the nightmare scenario, man. What's going on? What's happening?
Okay. So again, once quantum breaks the RSA and ECC, it doesn't steal the data. It removes the ability to prove who issued the order. Again, you said, look, if I'm in a ship, it's bad. So, for example, the IFF, we talk about identification of friend or foe. Can't trust it anymore. You don't know who's friend or foe, who's in the air. So let me shoot down everything. How about SATCOM, satellite communication, or satellite command uplinks? That can be forged. Nuclear launch authentication codes. Uh-oh. Drone swarm control signals. We know what drone swarms are, right? So instead of attacking A, it decides, oh, no, we're going to take over this drone swarm and go attack B. Logistics chain orders can be falsified. Missile defense firmware updates can be replaced because, why? Because you don't know if you can trust the update. And so an update comes in, acting like it's a real update, and your entire missile defense system can go pip. So the nuclear age was about mutually assured destruction, meaning if you push the button, everybody dies. That's why nobody pushed the button.
Right.
The quantum age is about mutually assured uncertainty. Look, no country is going to ever publicly admit when they reach quantum decryption supremacy. Because the second they say it, every other country goes into full pre-war posture. Everybody's going to go nuts. They're all going to have their finger on the button, ready to push that button. Before somebody else does anything else, they're going to say, while I still have control, and this is my last shot, I'm going to hit the button because I still have control to hit the button.
Did you see the last Mission Impossible movie?
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Nukes made war unthinkable. Quantum makes truth unverifiable.
Now look, for entertainment purposes only, let's talk strategy. Let's talk about what this really is. A new form of total warfare, where the objective isn't territory or resources, it's information supremacy. Whoever achieves quantum decryption capability first doesn't need to invade anyone. They can see everything, access everything, manipulate everything, and leave no trace. And that's not tactical advantage, that's civilizational leverage. So when I look at the global chessboard, when I look at which players are positioning themselves for the moment, I'm asking, who has the best technology? I'm asking, who's willing to use it first? Since they mapped that out for us.
Oh, okay. Here's a real map. This is what's really going down. China has a PLA, the SSF, the HYPHI Labs, and Baidu Quantum. That's what they have right now. These are the pieces of their puzzle. In the United States, we have NSA, AFRL, Google, IBM, DARPA. And if you don't know what DARPA is, go look that one up.
Right.
QIS, we have Unit, in Israel, they have Unit 8200, Technion, and HQ Tel Aviv. The EU, NATO, has CERN, Quantum Flagship, and GCHQ. Russia has Sklokovo and FSB Labs. Now, it's not just governments anymore. That's not who you have to worry about. It's also the big boys, the corporate actors who act like their own country. You have to understand the corporate entities act like their own country, okay? Orders mean nothing to them in a digital world. That's IBM, Google, Alibaba, Tencent, D-Wave, Rigetti, and the list goes on and on and on. These companies act like a nation state because quantum isn't a tech race. It's a civilizational leverage race. Whoever breaks global encryption first doesn't need tanks or bombs. They own every government record, every economy, every identity system. The real win condition isn't territory. It's undetectable, untraceable global access. Look, the next superpower won't conquer land. They will conquer verification. And they won't tell you that they've done it.
And that, my friends, are what I like to call bars. Listen, it's all speculative, people. And this is entertainment purposes only. To my Final Boss Nation, to my Final Boss family, to my Final Boss community, to my smarts, to my warriors, to my motivators. Listen, let's get tactical for a second, right? Let's run a simulation. Pure speculation. Pure speculation. And again, for entertainment purposes only. Look, but based on actual emergency protocols that exist right now in the financial system, I want you to imagine this. It's Tuesday morning, right? Like it was today. You wake up, you check your bank account, everything looks normal. You go to work, markets are open, news is normal. But somewhere in a classified facility, someone just proved they can break encryption at a scale. They don't announce it. They don't panic. They just start the clock. Sensei, walk us through that 7-day cascade, my good sir.
All right, day one, the first thing that's going to happen, banking is going to halt. The federal, and these are all in the playbooks already. These playbooks have been created. Okay, so because these playbooks have been created, it's already in. The Federal Reserve and the BIS freeze interbank transfers. They can't transfer money from bank to bank. Pending security review. Pending security review. The ATMs are going to work for 6 hours. What's the problem with ATMs? Does everybody have a limit on how much they can withdraw out of their ATM account? You're only allowed a certain amount per day.
Yeah, certain people. Yeah, it varies. Absolutely.
Depends on your bank and what they allow you to do. All right, let's say that you can only draw out $1,000 a day for that account. And you're lucky to get to the ATM to get that $1,000 out. How long is that going to cover you?
Yeah.
Day two, the markets are going to be suspended. The NSE, the NASDAQ, Tokyo, London, Frankfurt, all going to halt trading. signature validation fault. Done. Next one. Insurance is going to collapse on day 3. All digital liability policies, hospitals, logistic firms, airlines, they run in manual mode. They're going to try it. They're going to come off of automated and everything goes in manual mode. Right? Global shipping locks on day 4. By day 4, the bills of lading are invalid. The cargo stays offshore because nobody knows what goes where. So the cargo, and how long does it take to backlog cargo? Look, day 5, identity break. Passport databases are flagged. Airlines are grounded by day 5. Day 6, mass asset seizure. Crypto will be gone, drained. High-tech net worth assets looted. Legal ownership unprovable. Day 7, the government's going to step in. After it's already happened, after it's already occurred, the next day, government fail-safes are going to trigger. Emergency continuity network is going to come online. No one knows who controls it. Boom. The day 7 freeze isn't a prediction. It's a known BIS level protocol drafted in 2008. This has been drafted as a playbook since 2008. When identity dies, property dies. When property dies, law dies.
And
Think about that.
Again, more bars.
But it's been written in books.
Yeah, since 2008, people.
2008. So we're not talking about anything hypothetical. These are already the playbooks already written, where it's already planned that this is going to happen, and here's what you do if it does.
And look, Jesus H. Christ. Listen, for entertainment purposes only, I want you guys to know something. The Sensei and I can tell great stories. If you believe that we could tell great stories. And part of this story is right here. This part terrifies me. Not as a CEO, not as a military veteran, but as a human being trying to live in an organized society.
Ooh.
Because what we're really talking about here is the end of provable personhood. Again, personhood. The end of the assumption that I am who I say I am can be verified and trusted. Think about what that means. Every contract you've signed, every license you hold, every property deed, every marriage certificate, every degree, every piece of legal identity that says this is me and I have the right to exist in this system with these privileges and responsibilities, all of that becomes disputed, unverifiable, optional.
And you don't trust any of it. Okay, so identity today is based on 3 pillars. We have 3 pillars of identity. One is your credentials. We have passwords. We have biometrics. Biometrics are who you are. Retina, fingerprint, handprint, vein. All these things are who you are. And private keys. Those are your keys that you hold. Okay, remember we talk about public and private keys. All right, the next piece of the pillar is records. These are government databases, banks, and hospitals. Those are all of your records, right? Again, your licenses, all these things that you have are records. Now, the next piece is verification chains. Your cryptographic signatures, your certificates, your logs, all these things are verification chains. Quantum is going to break all 3 at once. Passwords, irrelevant. Biometrics, spoofable. Look, we already know the deep fakes are going on. You heard about deep fakes. We know that those are already getting really, really, really good. Iris, voice, face. Oh my God, that's so easy to fake right now.
Yeah.
Fingerprints, already deep fake. Certificates, invalid. Your blockchain signatures, which is what makes your crypto work, reversible. Your medical records can be changed. Court evidence, disputed. Voting systems, oh my God. I don't even talk about voting. Unrecoverable. Done. Anyone can become anyone. No one can prove they're real. Your legal personhood becomes optional. Government authority, it's an unverified claim. Look, a deep faking plus a quantum breach equals an identity war. This is the true reason why governments are pushing for CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, digital IDs, biometric linked wallets, not for convenience, because post-quantum verification requires a new identity architecture. I'm repeating this one more time. The true reason why CBDCs, Google that one, central bank digital currencies, digital IDs, and biometric linked wallets, it is not for convenience, but because post-quantum verification requires a new identity architecture. The future crime isn't identity theft, it's identity inflation. And we're always talking about how scary it is for this new digital currency and how it's going to freak us out, and why do you have to have a real ID? Why do you have to have all these things? Why?
Well, again.
And don't get me wrong, what I'm telling you is these pieces of the puzzle are not something that I'm speculating on. These are not things that I'm Nostradamusing here. These are all verifiable, true pieces of information that anybody can go see.
Yep.
I'm not creating anything out of thin air. I'm not stirring the pot. I'm just telling you this information is out for anybody. If they want it, they can go read about it. It's all public information.
It's all public information, people. But this episode is for entertainment purposes only. So let's talk about what comes next. And thank you for that, Sensei. Thank you for that, sir. What's next? What's next? Final Boss, Final Boss Nation, Final Boss community. Because systems don't just collapse into chaos and stay there. They organize, they fracture, they evolve into new structures, usually structures that serve whoever had the foresight to prepare. And what I'm seeing right now, and what I'm watching unfold in real time across corporate strategy and government policy, is the quiet construction of replacement infrastructure. The internet as we know it, open, anonymous, decentralized in spirit, if not in practice, it's dying. And 3 different visions for what replaces it are already being built. Sir.
They're not waiting to build it. It's already coming. Again, your first one you're going to see is what's called a government net. It's a closed network, zero anonymity. You're not anonymous anymore. You're now absolutely proven. Mandatory biometric ID tied to a CBDC wallet. So meaning it ties your biometrics, or who you physically are, to your CBDC wallet. It's run by the state, modeled after, here we go, China's Great Firewall and Social Credit API. And if you don't know what social credit system is, go figure it out.
Boom. That right there is the boom moment.
But it's already being built.
Yeah.
To prepare. Look, and this might not be in place right now, but it's being built so that X number of years down the road, that structure will be mature enough to be able to handle what's coming. You can't just wait until the collapse comes. You build something before the collapse comes. Corporate net. Big tech companies are going to build private cloud nations. Again, I told you, these tech companies act like nation states. Identity equals subscription. Amazon, Google, Apple are the new borders. Your login is your passport. Your DNS, which is what makes the internet work, your storage, all your comms, everything is privatized. Okay? That's the corporate net. Now, the last one, since you have government and corporate, those are your 2 big you're going to see. And we're going to see the shadow net. Decentralized, local first, off-grid capable. Ham radio, you know what ham is. That's the old school shadow net where you can talk across the world on ham radio.
Right.
LoRa, long-range Wi-Fi, satellite overlays, no central authority, resilient but uneven. So it's going to happen. Okay. So what you're going to see is the real split will not be East versus West. It will be verified versus unverified civilization. The internet's not going to die. It's going to fork. It's going to grow. But you're going to see it in distinct segments that are already being built right now. The reason they're being built is so that whatever happens, they're already prepared and ready.
And people, again, and I said I was going to be saying this throughout the show, Entertainment purposes only, people. And now let's get practical from a business perspective, because I'm watching this unfold from inside the system. I'm running companies that depend on digital infrastructure, SAP DigiNet. Go check it out. I'm advising people on risk management. I'm seeing the smart money make every specific move. Governments are slow. Governments are bureaucratic. Governments will struggle to adapt in time, but corporations are predatory. Corporations are agile, and the ones that survive won't just adapt to the post-quantum world. They'll own the infrastructure that defines it. So which companies are positioning themselves to become the new power brokers, and what's their actual strategy? Sensei, you have the floor.
All right. First thing is control identity. That's going to be the biggie. And this is, we're not talking government. We're talking, this is all corporate mega corporations. Okay. Apple's going to help control identity. Google, Microsoft, those are your top three here. And then Tencent. The next thing they're going to control is infrastructure. That's your Amazon. If you know what Amazon AWS is, then you know that when AWS has a hiccup, systems across the globe drop. Oracle, they will control infrastructure. And Alibaba Cloud. Those are your top three. Now, after that, we're going to talk about controlling logistics. Because now we got identity, infrastructure, logistics. Merck's, UPS, Walmart, SpaceX, Starlink. They're going to control logistics. The last piece of that four-piece puzzle is payments. Visa, Stripe. You ever heard of Stripe? BlackRock and BIS level banks. And here's what they're going to do. They're going to issue corporate identity wallets. They're going to build private mesh and satellite networks. They're going to issue corporate currencies or tokens. They're going to replace your nation state legal identity, meaning I'm an American citizen, that's what I am, with contract identity. I'm a Google. I'm a Microsoft. Apple ID, Google account, Microsoft Entra. If you don't know what that one is, that's a big player. ENTRA. These become the new passports. Look, tech companies don't want to replace governments. This is what they want. And because you said they're predatory, and yes, they are. Now, when the piranhas smell blood in the water, this is what they have. They go crazy. They want governments to. They want governments to fail first. Then they're going to offer the solution
at a cost.
The future citizen isn't a voter; it's an authenticated user, and everything is going to have a cost.
Wow. People, listen. All right, family. Entertainment purpose only, people. And this is the moment where we bring all of this down to street level, right? Because we've been talking about some big, really, really big things. And I want you guys to understand it, and we're going to bring it down to street level. Because everything we've talked about, the government failures, the corporate takeovers, the collapse of trust, none of that helps you if you don't have personal strategy to survive it. So I'm going to give you the same advice that Sensei and I have discussed with one another, and soon our families. And to anyone who asks, what do I actually do? This is not about paranoia. This is not about prepping for the apocalypse. This is about rational risk management in an environment where the rules are about to fundamentally change. Now, Sir Sensei, can you discuss the quantum survival stack?
4 layers, not hard at all. Number 1 layer, proof of self. This is your paper. Remember, if the technology fails, you better have paper backup copies. Paper originals of your birth certificate, any deeds or licenses, all paper copies. If you don't trust the digital, you better have paper. So no matter what you have to go get all your paper documents lined up. Have digital, or not digital, certified, notarized copies, multiples of them, many, not just one. Don't trust that I have one marriage certificate. I want to have 3. I want to have one birth certificate that's notarized. I want multiples. Offline encrypted archives. This is offline, meaning technology can't touch it. Meaning that your archive is data that can go on a USB stick. You can get what's called an iron key and that's an encrypted USB stick that you can't get into it. It'll self-destruct if you try. So that's offline. Don't leave it plugged in. Then post-quantum cryptography ready ID wallet once it's available. It's not here yet, but once it is. This number 2 layer, proof of ownership. Again, lands, assets, titles, contracts, all on paper. Paper. Go back to paper. Look, if the digital don't work because everything's digital, go. What do you fall back on? Fall back on paper. Back up on metal or durable medium. Crypto keys move to post-quantum wallets. Okay. The next thing, layer 3. This is now you remember, right now it's paper. Number 3 is offline comms and ID. Ham radio. All right, and that's a biggie. LoRa. Okay, low radiation mesh-tastic mesh mode nodes. Offline password vault exports. So get your passwords and offline them. Hardware authentication tokens, not cloud only. Now that's a little geeky, but you can dig into that. The last one here is layer 4. This is your resilient value. So we've talked about proof of self, proof of ownership, offline communications and ID, and then resilient value, cash, metals, barterable goods, local merchant network, skills, credentials. This is things you can trade if the digital currency is dead or the cash is not accepted. Everybody falls back on gold and silver. Other things that I'm going to tell anybody, if you want to stock up on something that's the most valued tradable item, it's hole punchers. And it's your pew pew hole punchers, okay? And you usually buy them in little boxes, right? Well, I can trade those because they're cheap. I can't trade a piece of gold. It's too much value in one little thing. But I can trade some pew pews. So you trade your hole punchers. Have a bunch of those of all different sizes and shapes because it's fantastic trading material. That's super important. Cash is not going to be worth what the paper it's printed on. But you have to have something you can actually trade with.
Absolutely.
Okay. So those are a big deal. And skills. Do you know how to do things? Do you know how to prepare foods and storage? And can you fix equipment? Can you fix equipment? Can you repair things? Look, I know how to change oil in my car and change tires, and I can build houses. Can you do that? That's the kind of things. Start learning those skills.
Build shelter. That's what I was going to say. Yep.
After identity collapse, possession replaces permission. If you can't prove you own it, you don't. And in the post-decryption world, the only real asset is provability. I can prove that it's mine. Paper copies of everything.
And people, for entertainment purposes only, we're approaching the end game here. And I need you to understand what's really at stake. Because this isn't just about technology failing. This is about humanity splitting into fundamentally 2 different ways of existing. I've studied enough history, enough geopolitical strategy to know that when a system reaches a breaking point, it doesn't just repair itself and return to normal. It fractures, it divides, it creates winners and losers, haves and have-nots, the included and the excluded. And the divide that's coming isn't rich versus poor. It's not East versus West. It's not black versus white. It's not even physical versus digital. It's verified versus unverified. Sensei, paint the picture for us.
Verified. Every transaction tied to a digital ID. Biometric tied to your CBDCs. State and corporate network controls access. No anonymity. No offline rights. No private ownership without permission. Social credit system is going to be in place. Programmable currency. All that's coming. Look, China's already prototyped it. If you want to see what's happening, go look. Europe is already drafting it. US, we're pretending it's optional, but it's not because it's coming down the pike. They've already passed the Genius Act. Go look what that is. Okay? So all the pieces are in place right now. Go look up the Genius Act. Civilization B, we just talked about A, which is verified. Now we're looking at the unverified world. Mesh networks, local currencies, and barter. Look, if you ever watched the movie Demolition Man, civilized, verified, and the underground.
Yeah.
That's where it's going to be. That's where it's headed. That's where it's headed.
Wow. Wow. And it's not Mad Max. This is post-credential frontier. The true war won't be East versus West or democracy versus authoritarianism. It'll be verified versus verified humanity. The
Verified
future
versus
isn't,
unverified.
yeah. The future isn't one world. It's two databases that don't trust each other. And entertainment purposes only, as we're getting ready to close out, here's where we land, right? I want to be very direct about this because too many people treat these conversations as theoretical exercises. They treat them as interesting thought experiments to discuss over drinks and then forget about. But what I'm talking about to you right now on the Final Boss podcast, I'm talking to you as the host and the sensei as the co-host. You have to make some decisions about infrastructure and security. As a veteran who understands what happens when critical systems fail, and as someone who spent years studying how civilizations adapt or fail to adapt, when the ground shifts beneath them, Sensei.
Wow. When it's just beneath your feet, you better be ready. I mean, that's not the time to get ready. You need to now exercise your game plans because you already are ready. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. You need to diversify. You just can't find yourself. You're going to go from being digitally rich to being asset poor in a heartbeat. Like, bloop, there it goes. So if you want to do something, change your digital assets into real world assets. Then, if something happens, you don't care. You still got your assets. But if you don't, and you say, I'm going to leave it in the stock market, or I'm going to leave my money out there, it's going to just disappear.
Right.
And what? And I'm not saying that it's panic or freak out. I'm saying diversify. Don't put 100% into the stock market. Split it up, shift it around, give yourself a little hedge, put a little over here, a little over there. I mean, come on, just be smarter than the average teddy bear. Don't just follow what you see on the news because they're going to have you watching football all day.
Right. And people, in closing, listen, human civilization hitched itself to the math it thought could never go away. And now it's becoming irrelevant. But extinction isn't the outcome. Migration is. The people who survive are the people who know how to prove who they are without permission from a network. Because the last encryption isn't RSA or ECC or PQC. It's memory, community, paper, presence, reality. And thank you, people. That's our show for tonight. Episode number 141. And here's what I need you to know. I want you to understand. Because again, this is for entertainment purposes only. And I mean, really internalize this, not just nod along with it. This isn't a story about quantum computers or broken encryption. This is a story about what happens when the systems we trusted to hold reality together start to dissolve. And when that day comes, and it's when, not if, the advantage won't belong to the richest, the loudest, or even the most technical. It'll belong to the people who prepared, the people who can still prove who they are, who they own, what they own, and who they stand with without needing a network to validate. I've seen what happens when infrastructure fails in combat zones. I've seen how quickly normal can become chaos and how the people who survive are the ones who had redundancy, who had the backups, who didn't put all their trust in systems so they couldn't control. So this is my challenge to you, Final Boss family. Don't wait. Don't wait. Don't wait. The quantum apocalypse won't announce itself. It won't give you a warning. It will simply flip a switch and suddenly everything that felt permanent will become negotiable. Your move is to make yourself non-negotiable because when the math collapses, When the networks fail, when trust becomes impossible to verify through digital means alone, the only encryption left is the humans who remember who you are. And until next time, stay sharp, stay prepared, stay human. And remember, the future doesn't ask if you're online. It asks if you're real. Sensei, you have any closing words?
Are you real with or without the grid? Ask yourself that.
That is the question. And remember, let all this from this conversation tonight, let it marinate in your spine. And always remember, there's a heavy pain that comes with discipline, but the pain of regret is even heavier. This is our show tonight, episode number 141, Quantum Apocalypse, and entertainment purposes only, and a speculative conversation. To each and every last one of you, no matter where you are and where you're watching from, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. This has been the Final Boss Podcast. I am the Final Boss. On the other side of the screen, my co-host, he's the Sensei. We love you guys. Be vigilant, be safe, be smart.
Welcome to the Final Boss Podcast, where microphones and mushroom clouds collide in the most mind-blowing chats. We're talking explosive topics, fiery debates, and the hottest guests. Imagine a creative space background, spacey vibes, and out-of-this-world conversations. It's like chilling with your best buddies, but with way cooler sound effects. Every episode, we take on the universe's biggest questions. You know, the stuff that keeps you up at night. And we do it with a bang. Want to know what happens when you mix gaming, movies, and pop culture? Boom! You get the Final Boss Podcast. So plug in those earbuds and get ready for a wild ride. Whether you're commuting, chilling, or just need a break, we've got your back. Hit that follow button and join us on this cosmic journey. Trust me, you don't want to miss these explosive chats. Catch the Final Boss Podcast now, where every episode is a blast. Stay tuned and stay awesome. Final Boss Podcast, bringing the boom to you.